just curious. No judgment. I genuinely want to know what truths men think women are unaware of. If all men had to be brutally honest for 24 hours, what would women be shocked to learn? Story 1. What we are really looking at. Sometimes, our eyes randomly land on your printed shirt, tattoo, necklace, or whatever else you have between your chin and navel. The reason we look away is because we realize there are breasts there, and we definitely are not checking you out. Story 2. I am anxious and have a strong desire to learn about myself. I want to have free time to grow with my friends, but most of them are not the kind of people I see myself growing with. Story 3. I love you with all my heart. I just need you to leave me alone and not touch me for a moment. Please stop asking if I love you every 5 minutes. My answer has not changed. Trust me. Just because I do not express emotions as vividly as you do does not mean I do not have them. Think for a moment. If these roles were reversed, how would you feel if I did that to you? Story 4. How many self-doubts and insecurities do we have within ourselves? The confident, brave face that we carry all the time hides many deep turmoils that people face internally. Story 5. My wife is the most beautiful woman in the world is not an exclusively appearance-focused compliment. The truth is, beautiful encapsulates much more than looks. Story 6. We are legitimately thinking of nothing or something so totally nonsensical and embarrassing, or just so far removed from reality, that saying nothing is the better option. Story 7. Most of us just want a shoulder to rest our heads on after working hard during the day. Nothing more, just a shoulder to lean on. Story 8. Maybe not all men, but for me, we actually love being in photos with you. We love being posted on your social media. We love when you hug us from behind. We love being the little spoon when cuddling. We lose that care and nurturing when we become men, and it takes us back to times when we felt safe as a child. It makes us feel loved and secure. Many of us tell you to stop because we know we have to be the manly man, but inside, we love it. Story 9. 3 things I've noticed not just in my relationship, but in the relationships of many men I know. We are not mind readers. Please just say what you want. Most men are happy to do any project you want, assuming it is within financial reason, but please do not micromanage while we work. Think about whether you actually want our opinion before you ask for it. Story 10. Many of us live our lives based on what we think is expected of us, from our families, significant others, friends, and society. We have never been honest with ourselves about who we truly are, or what our dreams, hopes, and desires may be. Story 11. We take on responsibilities to feel validated. We take on tasks to keep going because we have been conditioned this way. Some of us intentionally take on pets or groups that need us because, without a sense of purpose and reliance on us, we might withdraw from life. Story 12. Okay, I have a few points. How many men are not very concerned with small inconveniences or issues? How many women's male friends secretly want to sleep with them? How many men, whom they probably see daily, are struggling with their mental health such as loneliness, feelings of inadequacy, and feeling unattractive? Story 13. Women and men would be shocked to learn how many men are struggling mentally. I believe the number of men facing mental health challenges is higher than we imagine. Story 14. How honest they are the majority of the time. I genuinely think some women would be astonished that we are not playing mind games. Story 15. Well, my wife would be pretty surprised to find out just how attractive I still find her. She is still very attractive but will not take my word for it. Story 16. No, I wouldn't still love you if you were a worm. I'm not trying to be mean if your favorite dress looks unflattering. I'm thinking of nothing, or I don't really know what I'm thinking of. When my penis is hard, it doesn't necessarily mean I'm aroused. The conflict you have with your coworker is because you just can't stand each other. Deal with it. I don't care if you smell a little bit. We are at home. I'm not grossed out by your menstrual period. Story 17. We have not been lying all this time. We really do not care about the things you are insecure about. We also do not think about women as much as they think we do. Story 18. Please develop some hobbies and find something you are truly passionate about. Do not make me the center of your world. Just as my life does not revolve around you, yours should not revolve around me. Story 19. I like listening to your stories, but please be more direct and stop going on long tangents about every person's personal life to the point where I forget what you were trying to tell me. Story 20. We do not think about sex every 6 seconds. We are afraid to approach you because we do not want to be seen as pushy, and the chase is humiliating for us. Story 21. You would be shocked to learn that I would lock myself in for 24 hours so that you cannot hear what I have to say because anything we say can and will be used against us. Not falling for it. Story 22. No, I do not like the deodorant that you bought me, and I do not care that it was $1 cheaper. I prefer the deodorant that I have always used, and to me it is worth spending $1 more. Story 23. How clear we are about what is important. Your safety is my complete concern. I want to make sure you are okay and happy. What other people think about me or you does not matter to me at all. Story 24. I forgot one. Not brutal, but when you're walking home alone at night and we are walking behind you in the same direction, 90% of men are conscious that this is a very worrying and terrifying prospect for you. We get stuck in a thought. Do I slow down to be further behind but risk making this woman think I am trying to follow her? Or do I try to overtake her and move off into the distance, but scare her with my closing footsteps? If I can, I just take a turn off my path and add a minute or two to my walk home. Then I realize there's another woman walking home this way. It's not fun to always feel like a threat, but I know that doesn't compare to the absolutely justified feeling that you are always at risk simply for living. Story 25. We are sensitive, and the smallest things can affect us deeply, but we have this masculine trait that prevents us from showing it. Story 26. How often do men intentionally lose or back down to women in order to keep the peace and ultimately make them happy? Story 27. How underappreciated many fathers feel today. When my wife is spoiled by the entire family on Mother's Day, when I dedicate an expensive, lavish date for her, and my daughter makes gifts and a card for her. Yet here I sit alone at 12 p.m. on another Father's Day and haven't heard a word from either of them or my mother, who wanted to keep my daughter this weekend knowing it was Father's Day weekend. I know I can't say anything about it because I don't want an argument, and any appreciation afterward wouldn't be genuine. Being a father feels like a thankless and completely expected job despite how many absentee fathers there are. Story 28. Your lip filler does not look good. We understand you did not do it for male attention, and we can tell you have had it done. Story 29. I am often in a lot of pain, and I do not want to talk about it because I believe it is more important to take care of other people than to take care of myself. I do not think this is a phenomenon exclusive to males. Story 30. How often do some of us have to remind our inner 14-year-old that just because she is being nice, it does not mean she wants to have sex with you? Then there are the men who never emotionally matured past the age of 14. Story 31. Get a hobby and spend less time on Instagram. You feel sad about your life because you spend 5 hours a day watching fake lives. If you spend your day on social media, it is hard to have a conversation with you. Story 32. You have to literally spell everything out for me. It is not a joke. I do not know what you were thinking, what inputs you used, or what logic you built from it unless you spell it out for me. Even after you do, I may not agree. I am not necessarily saying you are wrong. I just have a different viewpoint or different priorities. I am discussing this with you because I am trying to work with you to reach a consensus on the topic at hand, not because I want to fight. Either way, speak to me. Tell me what is going on. I can tell that something is wrong, so please do not pretend it isn't, because I will not know unless you tell me. Story 33. I cannot believe how many times a girl has been upset with me because I was trying to say something nice but chose the wrong words. Story 34. We are actually very emotional people, but most of us are raised to suppress our emotions, so they only come out in fits, starts, and inappropriate expressions. Story 35. Those long fake eyelashes are not attractive. No man has ever thought she would be attractive if she had ridiculously long eyelashes. Story 36. We don't like to feel pressured to have sex. While many of us have a high libido, it does not automatically mean that we are always ready for sex. We might not be in the right mental space, have body insecurities, or just be having a bad day. Consent goes both ways, and it seems like a man cannot say no to sex without causing conflict in the relationship. We are the same species at the end of the day. We can also feel extremely lonely and touch-starved sometimes. Story 37. That men are in fact bothered by more things than we express. It's not that things don't bother us. It's just that we have learned to bottle up our feelings, even in the harshest of situations. Story 38. When we say our favorite moments are when you are most beautiful wearing sweatpants, a t-shirt, or pajamas, we mean it. Story 39. We, or many at least, do not care how big or uneven your breasts may be. If you are willing to give us the opportunity to see them with your consent, we are probably happy with that. What we, or at least I, do care about is not having to worry about being filmed in the gym or asked to move my operation just because someone wants to make content for their social media. Story 40. I could not care less about the imperfections you are worried about. Many of them I actually like. Saying okay does not always mean I agree. Sometimes it means I accept. I am not sure my wife would actually find that very shocking now that I think about it. Story 41. Anything you try to solve, put on my plate, seriously discuss, or want to show me as I am walking into the house returning from work will annoy me. Just give me 15 minutes, and I can then be present. Story 42. I love you so much, with every fiber of my being. But I wish you could make a decision on your own, without 5 other people chiming in to tell you what to do. It is so codependent that I feel like they enjoy controlling you. You are an adult. Make a decision. Life is scary. I hope they choose the best life for you. Story 43. Most of us derive the majority of our self-worth, when it comes to our partner, from respect and appreciation. Story 44. They would be shocked to learn that instead of listening to regular music, we just listen to Awakening from the Dragon Ball Daima original soundtrack and pretend to go Super Saiyan for all day. Story 45. There is a simplicity to how we act and think that women, by all accounts, would be quite unable to grasp. Story 46. That men are only really allowed to share one emotion: anger. However, men have all the same emotions and fears that women have. They suppress them because no one seems to care how they feel unless it is anger. Men want to share their emotions without the fear of them being used against them. Story 47. The only reason some of us are still alive and continue to move forward is because we have children and spouses. Story 48. We really do just think about simple things like if we have ever drunk milk from the same cow twice or why boxing rings are square. Story 49. We often stay quiet about emotional pain because, far too often, it is turned into a weapon against us. Story 50. Your workplace would be less toxic if you and the other women stopped being gossipy to each other. Story 51. I do not want this to sound angry or misogynistic because it is certainly not that, and I love women. However, there are many women who think they are more interesting than they actually are, and the only thing saving them is sex. When getting to know them, their personalities can be dry, and they show minimal effort. It feels like pulling teeth, and they often have an attitude where they believe their presence alone is enough. I also believe this type of woman tends to have a hard time as they get older because, even if they are still relatively attractive, their looks alone can no longer carry them through life. I fear that social media is creating many egomaniacs who will struggle later in life because they have a false perception of reality. No one is special. Story 52. I don't know if it would be shock. We are fairly easy to read. The one that might be a little surprising is that we don't value sex more than we do actual love. It's just that love can diminish in value after enough bad experiences. So yes, we will notice an attractive woman walk by, but at some point, we know she is not more valuable than the good one we are already in love with. Story 53. I will definitely stay home all day without talking to anyone. Imagine being honest with all those who always need to be right. I would rather keep my peace and quiet than try to correct lost causes by being honest. Story 54. We like small tokens of appreciation as well, such as flowers, candy, our favorite snacks, lunch notes, and compliments on our appearance. Story 55. I think they would be surprised how much our value is tied to our ability to provide things to people and how taxing that can be on our mental health over time. Story 56. Hints do not work on us. We are not mind readers, and we do not know the hidden meaning you assume we understand. Story 57. I would start by saying that we are all different. Instead of trying to relive your last failed relationship and adapting to everything he complained about, be who you really are. If we are not a match because of reality, there is no fault in that. I would rather discover that early on than find out a year later that you have been trying to be something you think I want you to be. Story 58. A large number of us are insecure about our looks, our value, and our worth. We often feel invisible and unimportant. Most of the time, our motivation for doing anything is simply to be seen as good enough for a change. We want to be confident and impressive, but that confidence needs validation from being seen as worthy, which we are not perceived as without confidence. If we are not seen as good enough, as many men are these days, we assume arrogance and bravado are attractive because we associate them with confidence. These are the traits we see being validated all the time. Story 59. People would find out I am a lot nicer and quieter. In this world, you really have to give people attention and interaction and set up many boundaries to avoid being taken advantage of. Story 60. If I were honest about the things that crossed my mind, you would be shocked. I am constantly bombarded with violent thoughts and images as if some unpleasant creature is shouting into my brain. Story 61. Even if you are the world's most beautiful woman, I will not be interested if your personality is unpleasant. Story 62. We hate drama and believe simplicity is better. I was thinking of building a man cave and bought a lazy boy recliner. Then I realized that was all I needed. A comfortable chair with air conditioning where I can rest after work. Story 63. Just believe us when we tell you things. Date night. She's getting ready. Her. What do you think of this dress? Me, looks good. Her. Maybe I'll try the other one. What do you think of this dress? Me, that one looks good too. They're both good. Her. Oh, you don't like anything. Me, internal thought, ugh, you could wear a clown outfit for all I care. We are going out to eat. I'm very hungry, and you doing costume changes is keeping me from food. I told you I wanted to leave at 6. It's now 6:45. Whatever it is, let's go. Also note, if I say we need to leave at 6, we need to leave at 6 or there will be problems. This also applies to what are you thinking? And us replying nothing. We do not have nothing running in our heads all day. No, the construct in the Matrix? It's kind of like that. Empty room. I can pull up almost anything in less than a second, yes, but I'm not thinking about that now. If you say something like Stacy is hot, huh? We will load something about how hot Stacy is or how awful Stacy is. We wouldn't have even thought about it before. But now you brought it up. Makeup 9 out of 10 times looks bad. We don't notice little things like when you got your hair cut, because it's not something we care about unless it's extreme. Oh honey, you shaved your head, why? Yeah, I'll notice that. I got 1.5 inches off my hair length. Nope. Sometimes the saying, better to beg for forgiveness than to ask for permission is accurate. We don't want to fight, so we will do whatever. If you find out about it, we will fight then. Story 64. Have you gained some weight? Yes. Are you overweight? Yes, a bit. Do I care? No. Are you still the most beautiful woman on the face of the earth to me? Yes. Story 65. I have heard all your stories at least 12 times each. I am just acting like I am interested and amused. That is because I love you. Story 66. The only thing that comes to mind is the number of small issues I do not have the energy to express or complain about. She gets a free pass on many things that bother me slightly but not enough for me to voice. Story 67. I didn't realize how many men tolerate bad behavior and remain silent. I could never do that, but maybe that's why I am single. Story 68. That I'm a mean person when that first thought hits before empathy and politeness filter it. I don't have patience for those lacking common sense. Figure out the correct right-of-way, please. That is all. Merge correctly. Quit disrespecting those in food service who are serving you. I rambled, but she tolerates me and the rest of me. Story 69. Most of us do not want to deal with the whole courtship, weddings, ceremonial entourage, and making things look magical. This does not mean we do not care about you, but it is work. Most of us go along with it to avoid drama and problems. Many men do these things so you do not start complaining. If love is what you want, many men could love you. But you do not only want love but also the theater and emotional choreography of love. The show, the picture, the gesture, the thrill, and so on. Anything short of full compliance with everything means we are emotionally undeveloped, unloving, selfish, and so forth. Story 70. Your need to vent without seeking solutions is exhausting, tedious, and unpleasant to be around. If you are not trying to fix your problem, keep it to yourself. Story 71. We are more than just providers for the family. We have our struggles that no one talks about. We want to be loved and cared for unconditionally. We fight battles silently every day. Even after that, nobody cares, and then they expect us to be caring and understanding of other people. Care for and love us like human beings, not just for being providers but for who we are. Story 72. We are more honest already than people give us credit for. Who has time to lie day to day? Lying takes so much effort, and most of us are not doing it. Story 73. That men are characterized as being all about sex and not feelings, love, or emotion, and that women are always the ones who are used for sex or left emotionally hurt by a bad partner. It goes both ways, and we are not tougher or less emotional than you. Story 74. Sometimes we are blank, truly enjoying the silence without analyzing or planning anything. Other times, even in a loud social setting like a party, our minds may be far away, thinking about work, life goals, random memories, or things unrelated to the moment. Many of us are taught, sometimes directly and sometimes subtly, that strength means silence, control, and holding it all in. Opening up often feels like breaking an unspoken rule. Story 75. We are not joking when we say we do not get the subtle, literally invisible signs you give off. It is exhausting being the one who has to do mind reading all the time. Story 76. If your reason is to look attractive to men rather than for yourself, none of us are impressed by you drawing your eyebrows over perfectly acceptable eyebrows. Story 77. Profound insecurity. Not just among Tate fans, but among most men. Many men are not conditioned to develop strong social skills as children, which leads to small social circles as adults. Having a small social circle can increase insecurity. It is more likely that social and emotional needs are not being met, which raises stress and anxiety. Also, the size of the social circle influences how you measure yourself. When you have many friends, you gain a broader perspective on how diverse people can be, which is comforting and reassuring for self-worth. A small social circle means interpersonal comparisons are between fewer people, making the comparisons feel more personal. To give a simple example, if you have 3 good friends, there is a 1 in 4 chance you earn the least. If you have 30 friends, that chance is 1 in 30. But even with 30 friends, it is less likely you make that comparison because they are more likely to come from different backgrounds and have very different jobs. Story 78. The number of men who would rather harm themselves than suffer the repercussions of this would be catastrophic. Story 79. The hypocrisy. If I sit down to play a game for 2 hours, I am a useless couch potato who never does anything. If she is mindlessly browsing Instagram or TikTok until her phone battery dies, that is okay. Story 80. We hate it when you mess with your face. If you are 25, it is okay to look 25. If you are 37, it is okay to look 37. If you are 52, it is okay to look 52. It is okay to look your age. Please stop with the crazy surgeries on your face. You are beautiful already. Story 81. How attractive natural beauty is. No cosmetic surgeries. I want the cellulite and little belly. How beautiful natural beauty is. Also, how much we miss you when you are not around because we cannot admit that as men. Story 82. We think about sex, even with strangers, friends, colleagues, or people we have no intention of acting on it with. It is not always romantic or emotional. It can be mechanical, objectifying, and random. Many men go years without being complimented meaningfully. A random "you smell good" from a woman in 2019 might still live rent-free in their brain. A lot of men are walking around with depression, loneliness, grief, father issues, and childhood trauma buried under layers of humor, work, and pornography. We constantly compare ourselves: height, status, salary, muscles, penis size, job title, car, and are silently tortured by it. Men can be deeply in love with their partner and still be visually or sexually attracted to others. It does not always mean disrespect, just biology. But yes, it can be disturbing. Most men, especially in long-term partnerships, are quietly terrified of being not enough as a provider, lover, partner, or father. It eats them inside. Story 83. We keep our emotions, troubles, woes, and worries bottled up inside because we do not trust you to support us when we open up. Story 84. I think many women will find that most of us really want night vision goggles, a knife, a hatchet, comfortable boots or shoes, a blowtorch, firewood, binoculars, a chainsaw, a gas mask, and a trusty dog or cat that just hangs out while sitting in a comfortable recliner. Story 85. The workplace is not a flirting boxing ring. Do not run a job like a home. No one, male or female, likes a nagging micromanager. Story 86. Half the time we give advice, it is just us trying to end the conversation faster. Most of the time a man is lying to you to protect your feelings. You cannot handle true honesty, and our peace is more important. We fantasize about being emotionally safe with you more than being sexually dominant over you. Many of us do not want to date anymore. We are tired of feeling disposable. Some of us fear commitment not because we want options, but because we have never seen it done right. Some women hate being objectified and at the same time objectify themselves, calling it liberation and empowerment, and blame men for being disrespectful. Freedom comes at a cost for everyone, even us. Yes, she is prettier than you. The whole point is that despite other beautiful women out there, he chose you. If you cannot handle it, grow up. When you call men trash, useless, or pigs, the only ones who hear it are those who are trying to do better for everyone. The disrespectful men do not care because what they are doing works for them. Story 87. Apparently, according to these responses, I am not a man because only one thing has applied to me so far. Story 88. Alright, if every man had to be brutally honest for 24 hours, no filter, just raw truth, some things would definitely catch women off guard. First, many men are far more insecure than they admit. They might confess to overthinking text messages, feeling quietly rejected when they do not receive compliments, and sometimes going silent not because they do not care, but because they do not know what to say without sounding foolish. Also, some men fake confidence all the time. That cool, relaxed guy is probably panicking inside, wondering if he is saying the right thing or if his shirt makes him look strange. It makes you wonder, how often do people actually say what they mean versus what they think they should say? I am curious as well. What if women were honest for 24 hours too? Story 89. We'd love life to be like a movie where we can perform one massive heroic deed for our girlfriend, wife, or family, which would earn us enough brownie points to have them adore us for the rest of our lives. In reality, it feels like being on a ratchet. The day-to-day business of trying to be constantly present, attentive, and patient, and to deal with the daily grind of work, chores, and emotional support can be hard, tedious labor. Putting a foot wrong in one of these areas can feel like being put back to square one, where we are on the wrong end of tetchiness. It is wonderful and an enormous privilege to have someone you love to do these things for and with, but sometimes it would be nice not to have to do anything. Story 90. How we do not want to regularly entertain you, and how far fun and excitement or drama are down on our list much of the time. How not knowing what you want to eat, being a picky eater at least in the moment, and shooting down several suggestions is a form of mild torture. How draining your verbosity can be after a while. How alone time is regularly required for many of us. Even when we generally love being around you, there are times we need downtime and to be completely alone. On a less serious note, yes, your ass looks fat in those pants, and no, that is not a bad thing at all. Story 91. We are in fact very bad at communicating, but if you can somehow open us up, we will unload everything and probably regret it later. Story 92. Please keep your children away from me. They make me uncomfortable. I do not care if they are cute or just children. I really do not want to be near them. This is why I left my last job. Story 93. I really am thinking about nothing important. I don't want alone time because I'm angry. I want to be alone because every moment I am with someone there is an expectation of my attention, money, time, effort, knowledge, and validation. I know you bring up male friends and coworkers to try to make me jealous. I don't care unless you cross a line, and then you win by me leaving. If you knew how much women flirted with me, you'd lose your mind, because I don't think it's possible for you to understand that I'm not interested. I really do like your butt. It's amazing. Story 94. I think it would boil down to this. Men's lives are complicated enough already. We do not care about love like a Pinterest board. What we want is peace, relief, clarity. To go home and not have to read between the lines, decode, translate, calculate, walk on eggshells, or wonder if we forgot something inconsequential. Story 95. When you ask us what we are thinking about and we say nothing, we literally mean we are thinking about nothing at all. There is just a dial tone. Story 96. It's already been said, but typically we don't mince words. We might be brief, but at least it's to the point. Listening to someone talk for a long time can be draining, and hearing women in my life complain about microaggressions committed by other women is also very draining. I enjoy listening at times for entertainment and to get a glimpse into how other people, especially the other gender, think. It seems exhausting to consider all possibilities of what every interaction could mean. Generally speaking, you don't have to do that with men. If it feels a little cold, it doesn't mean please turn on the heat. If that's what I wanted, I would have said so. I'm just saying it feels a little cold at the moment. Anyway, I'm glad I'm in a field surrounded by men and friends who are men. The only women I consider friends are about 5 cousins. The rest have been acquaintances at best. Story 97. We are supposed to be the initiators of dating, but at the same time we are predefined as creeps, and there are a million ways not to do it. Essentially, it is like a puzzle game except the screen is not working, so you have no idea where your character is. Story 98. You are asking a group of Reddit users. You would receive a more honest answer by directly asking men in the real world who have no interest in your opinion of them. You will find a lot of self-hatred and negative behavior on this platform. Not to say that normal people do not think like this, but it will be much more common here than average. Story 99. Men do not care about makeup, clothes, or plastic surgery. Those are things that women do to compete with each other. A woman who is generally happy, in reasonable physical condition, has good hygiene, has her own interests, is not deeply in debt or addicted, and is well is enough. Men are simple creatures. Story 100. I need emotional support too once in a while. I'm smiling, laughing, and supporting you and our family. But it is incredibly difficult to keep things together and get out of bed many mornings. Story 101. There are quite a few women that I find attractive. However, that does not mean that I view them solely based on attractiveness and no other qualities. I can think a woman is very attractive and simultaneously not desire or pursue her romantically or sexually. I am not hiding anything or being insincere when I do so. Being romantically or sexually attracted to women does not mean I cannot form healthy friendships with women. Even women I find attractive. If a female friend asks me if I would have sex with her, and I answer sincerely that I would, since I genuinely find her attractive, that does not mean our friendship means nothing to me. On the contrary, our friendship might be part of the very reason I find her attractive and thus am so willing to have sex with her. I am sure that at least some women have had male friends they were attracted to, and they still treated them with respect regardless of that attraction. Simply because some men view all of their female friends as possible sexual partners or completely unattractive does not mean that is the case for all men or even most men. Story 102. This would not be specific to women. I think 90% of people I encounter are raging idiots. Edit. Spelling. Did not think people would care, but Reddit. Story 103. Women say that men are bad listeners. It is more like you overcommunicate about things we are not interested in or cannot contribute to. I work on active listening because I know my partner cares about me acknowledging every conversation about her day. She does not want me to fix her problems, just listen, so I do that now. It is hard to do because it is not eventful stuff and she does not want it resolved. I like to fix things and move on. In my experience, women are actually bad listeners, not because they do not hear what we say, but because they cannot intake our information as it is. Men speak directly. We mean exactly what we say. Every woman I have dated would constantly twist what I say and expand it 2 to 3 times into other meanings or project their insecurities. It is infuriating to tell the truth and constantly have it twisted into falsehoods or drama. Just listen to exactly what we said and understand the most basic meaning. Story 104. I would expect how much men struggle, how much they internalize, and how much they do not try to put on others but just suffer quietly, which is an expectation for them. Story 105. We cannot be honest with them because of their feelings. As men, we have to constantly watch what we say and how we say it. If this actually happened, many women would be crying everywhere. Story 106. When I say you don't listen, what I truly mean is that when I tell you things, it's because I mean them. The shock you show when I do the exact action is frustrating. Also, the inability to apply what I'm saying to almost identical situations for yourself is confusing to me. I am the way I am with people we know outside the house, so that when they run into you without me, they'll show the same level of respect as if I were standing there. Most of the stress in your interactions with other people is caused by yourself overanalyzing or overcomplicating. I truly don't care about most of the decisions, but I take the responsibility of making choices so that you don't have the pressure of being wrong or responsible for not getting what you expected. The fact that you say, I don't care about anything, but don't actually believe that confuses me. I don't actually like my job. I do it instead of the job I want to do so that you never worry about money because I love you. You really should get a hobby. I'm not quite sure, besides food, what you actually like, nor am I sure how you aren't overweight. I think this evolved into me just referencing my own wife. I don't really know any other women anymore. Story 107. We have severe mental health problems that affect sexual function, but nobody cares. I have severe anxiety and self-esteem issues. Sometimes when I have sex, I just freeze or cannot reach orgasm. The penis was erect, but I did not finish. I almost passed out from the fear of not being good enough. Avoid pornography, young people. Story 108. How much pain some of us are in. You often hear, oh, he is sad, depressed, or even suicidal. But sometimes even the latter does not capture it. Some of us are in so much emotional pain, wanting to give up daily but continue on for significant others and parents. Story 109. I have never looked at a girl and thought, damn, she could use some false eyelashes. They make you look like clowns. Story 110. We love breasts, all breasts. We really do not care if they are big or small or any shape really. Sure, we have a preference, but we love them all. Please stop feeling bad if you do not have large breasts because we are just happy to be hanging out with them. Story 111. Many men stay with awful women because the idea of no intimacy and the fear of not finding someone else seem more terrifying than the daily humiliation they endure in the relationship. Story 112. Their lack of self-esteem and obsession with weight is much more of a turnoff than if they were more accepting of who they are and embraced it with confidence. I see so many women struggling with this, and I know society is difficult. However, I also know skinny girls who are constantly focused on dieting and weight, trying to look good, that they forget attitude is a big part of looking good regardless of size. Story 113. I don't care about most of the things you say to me, not in a you're not interesting way, but in an I'm not interested in the topics you deem important way. Story 114. Hello, your breasts are great. I quickly glanced at them 5 minutes ago. I am here for my noon appointment. Story 115. That we always handle women with kid gloves. If we talk to them the way they speak to us, we would probably end up in court. Story 116. Not shocked if you are paying attention, but we do not know what we are doing. Most of us cannot express or do not know what we are feeling. Story 117. Most men feel deeply lonely, touch-starved, and emotionally ignored, but they have learned to hide it because no one really asks how they are doing. Story 118. Most of their male friends secretly want to sleep with them, and those septum piercings make you all look hideous. Story 119. Women can be exhausting to be around. Everything is centered around their feelings at any given moment and their need to talk about them. Story 120. How much less subtext there is in what they say. Not that they are necessarily any more or less honest than women think, but just how much less passive aggressiveness and code there is to what they say. It is as unfathomable to women as the concept that men often genuinely think about nothing. Also, how much men lie to help try to assuage women's insecurities, and how often men really consider others' opinions, especially women's, in the choices they make. Men often act like they are making self-serving decisions because it is generally easier for women to accept that than to think men are being considerate of women who do not communicate their opinions, either out of self-sacrifice or an inability to make decisions. Also, how much more insecure men are. Women know men are far more insecure than they let on, but they are often completely off about what specifically men are insecure about and how insecure men are regarding those things. How much more raunchy and sexually explicit men's thoughts are constantly. Men are not really any more horny than women, but the actual kinds of things men think about regarding sex are so different and more graphic than the more abstract types of things most women think about. Story 121. I am actually not thinking about anything. I can sit and drink coffee while enjoying the view from my porch without thinking about anything. Story 122. Many men are willing to risk pregnancy just for the chance to have unprotected sex. This is not particularly surprising. Story 123. Many of us are absolutely terrified to speak from the heart, not because we do not care, but because we are afraid of saying the wrong thing and accidentally offending someone. Story 124. How little we actually care about the things we care about. The people being brutally honest are just being brutal, not honest. Story 125. 90% of the time we say nothing is wrong, we genuinely mean it. We are just staring at a wall and relaxing. Story 126. A little muscle mass will not stop them from being attractive. We are all incomplete pieces and should give each other time and grace if we want to align. Many people cannot cook well, but they know how to put love into the food, and that is what makes their children love their food. Story 127. The peak moments of anger are too intense, especially when we are not supposed to express them. Additionally, the long brain dumps about random topics make it hard for men to stay engaged. Story 128. Many women in relationships are told they are being annoying and then feel upset. The reason is that people are inevitably annoying sometimes, and it is polite not to mention it. Story 129. While some people have health issues and cannot reduce their weight, you are probably not one of them. You are just eating unhealthily, avoiding physical activity, not drinking water, eating at the wrong times, and so on. Every time I bring this up, I get bombarded with excuses. Yes, you have those issues, but they are not the real problem. You know it, I know it, your friends know it, and the scale knows it. The issue is you, period. Story 130. We don't really think a lot about serious things and don't need much to live. All I need is food, a place to lie down at night, and good sex. Oh, and even though I am in my 40s, video games too. Story 131. Sometimes we simply need time alone. You did not do anything wrong. We do not hate you, we just need to clear our heads. If you want a man to do something, stop nagging him. The best way to get him to do something is to 1. Make it a task that requires a challenge. 2. Tell him you need help with something rather than saying, I need you to get this done right now. Men love both a challenge and helping a loved one. We need to feel wanted, not forced. Story 132. Some men sometimes have 2 streams when urinating while standing. It usually resolves itself after a moment or 2. Story 133. If it is a workday, many people are about to find out how unattractive they are in painstaking detail. Story 134. The most shocking thing to them would probably be that their partners actually find them attractive and are not just saying it. Story 135. Sometimes we enjoy time to ourselves, and when that happens, it is nice to have a hobby outside of work. When you pay for work, it can be a little embarrassing, even if it is only once in a while. Story 136. You do not want to hear the truth. You want to hear whatever will upset you the least. These are often different things. It is not okay to raise your hand to me because you are upset. Trying to have the last word in an argument and then walking away before anyone can respond does not make you correct. It makes you pathetic. Story 137. We think about food a lot, our favorite foods, food commercials, new restaurants, and so on. We want a good, honest relationship. Looks aren't everything, and we don't honestly care if you're a perfect 10, but we at least have to find you somewhat pleasant to look at. We want you to stop being vague and tell us exactly what you want. Also, just communicate in general. We think about and notice beauty everywhere constantly. It's not always the official standards. We all have our own perceptions in addition to universal standards of beauty, and it may not be what women think it is or something they personally don't even find attractive about themselves. Sex or picturing nudity may pass through our minds, but that doesn't mean we're fantasizing about everyone or lusting. We notice, give it a thought or two, and then typically continue on with our day or whatever task we were doing unless she's a knockout to us, and then it takes a little more focus to snap back. We like simple things, living things getting hurt in funny ways, but living perfect athletic or similar feats, one-offs, the way things just fit perfectly together. These moments aren't life-changing, but they cause us to pause for appreciation. We think about overarching problems in our lives a lot or how foolish something we've witnessed is, but unless it's too much for us to passively ignore outwardly, we don't bring it up. Story 138. No, the 32 pairs of pants you have tried on are not making you look fat. The pants are doing the best they can to hold it all in. Story 139. Most wives are not the most beautiful or the best woman their husband has ever been with or dated. Many men compromise to maintain peace in their relationships. Story 140. I seriously do not care what Janice said about Barbara. I really do not. Your workplace drama is very boring. Story 141. We do not enjoy countless calls just to talk about nothing. We value our time. I know you miss us, but we have things to do. Story 142. I don't think about sex as much as you do. I want to avoid most women except my partner, and I find many of them annoying or complicated. Sometimes I would love for you to just walk into the room, slowly take your clothes off, and dominate me completely. We will never be just friends because we will end up sleeping together. I don't need you to look after me, but your partnership means a lot to me, and I would miss you deeply. If I say I am going to do something, I want you to leave me to it and not question me, unless it is something serious or affects the relationship. Story 143. He was not cheating and he was not thinking about other women. However, if you have to hear any more about how much he wants that new Nintendo Switch. Story 144. The amount of pressure to provide for our families is overwhelming at all times. I am a father of 3 teenage girls, and the pressure to keep them safe, secure, and financially stable while navigating all the challenges that come with them becoming adults is very overwhelming. I sat in the car in the dark garage yesterday for an hour because I did not want them to see me cry about not having enough money for all of them to go to college. Story 145. Not a man, but I am actually finding this thread illuminating. I will definitely check in on some of the important men in my life tomorrow and try to make them feel valued and respected. I hope some of you find better people to be around, and I hope some of you try to become better people to be around too. I would be interested to see what a gender-flipped version of this thread would be like. Story 146. Brutal honesty is not the truth. It is being ruled by your emotions. People who say they are brutally honest are generally just rude individuals who speak before thinking. Claiming to be brutally honest is unwise because it leads to saying things you do not believe based on your feelings. You decide what you believe, but your moment-to-moment thoughts would be unfair to subject to someone else. Story 147. That we really do not care when we say it. Where do we want to eat? Do we like this color on you? And on and on. Sometimes when we say it, we really do not care. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.